Periods of development. Prenatal development, conception occurs and development begins. All of the major structures of the body are forming and the health of the mother is of primary concern. Understanding nutrition teratogens for environmental factors that can lead to birth defects. And labor and delivery are primary concerns. Infancy and toddlerhood. The first year and a half to 2 years of life are ones of dramatic growth and change. A newborn with a keen sense of hearing but very poor vision is transformed into walking, talking toddler within a relatively short period of time. Caregivers are also transformed from someone who manage feeding and sleep schedules to a constantly moving guide and safety inspector for a mobile and energetic child. Early childhood. Early childhood is also referred to as the preschool years, consisting of the years which follow toddlerhood and precede formal schooling. As a 3 to 5-year-old, the child is busy learning, language is gaining a sense of self and greater independence, and is beginning to learn the workings of the physical world. This knowledge does not come quickly. However, and preschoolers may initially have interesting conceptions of size, time, space, and distance, such as feeling that they may go down the drain if they sit at the front of the bottom, or by demonstrating how long something will take by holding out their two index fingers several inches apart. Middle childhood. The ages of 6 through 11 comprise middle childhood, and much of what children experience at this age is connected to their involvement in the early grades of school. Now, the world becomes one of learning and testing new academic skills and by assessing one's abilities and accomplishment when making comparisons between self and others. Schools compare students and make these comparisons public through them, sports, test scores, and other forms of recognition, growth rates, slowdown, and children recognition. Growth slow down, and children are able to define their motor skills at this point in life, and children begin to learn about social relationship beyond the family through interaction with their friends and fellow students. Adolescence. Adolescence is a period of dramatic physical change marked by an overall physical growth, spark, and sexual maturation, known as puberty. It is also a time of cognitive change as the adolescent begins to think of new possibilities and to consider abstract concepts such as love, fear, and greed. Ironically, adolescents have a sense of incivility that puts them at greater risk of dying from accidents or contracting sexually transmitted infection that can have lifelong consequences. Early adulthood. The 20s and 30s are often of as early adulthood. Students are in their mid-30s tend to love to hear that they are a young adult. It's a time when we are at our psychological peak but are most at risk for involvement in violent crime and substance abuse. It's time of crime. It's a time focusing on the future and putting a lot of energy in making choices that will help one earn the status of a full adult in the eyes of others. Love and work are primary concerns at these stages of life. Middle adulthood. The late 30s through the mid-60s is referred to as middle adulthood. This is a period in which aging that began earlier becomes more noticeable, and a period of which many people are at their peak of productivity in love and work. It may be a period of gaining expertise in certain fields and being able to understand problems and find solutions with greater efficiency than before. It can also be a time of becoming more realistic about possibilities in life previously considered, of recognizing the difference between what is possible and what is likely. Late adulthood. This period of his lifespan has increased in the last 100 years, particularly in industrialized countries. Late adulthood is sometimes subdivided into 2 or 3 categories such as young old and old old, or the young old old, and the old is old. We will follow the former categorization and make the distinction between the young old, who are people between 65 and 79, and the old, or those who are 80 and older. One of the primary differences between these groups is that the young old are very similar and midlife adults.